Hey everybody, it's Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and we are going to be getting started in about 2 minutes. For this particular presentation, there is not a handout right now. There will be a handout afterwards. This is going to be an experiential presentation. So if you can get someplace that you can focus and be present, and if you have the ability to put on some earbuds, that is really going to help you. When I get done with this, I will download the video and the audio separately, and it will go into your student file. And I'm going to be sharing with you how we're going to get the notes for this program. So we have about one more minute, and I'm going to take care of one more little thing while people join the call, and I will be right back. Hey, I just want to remind everybody that if you are watching, especially via Facebook, and I believe it's on YouTube too, because I am simulcasting on YouTube. If you want to be able to comment and share your feedback or ask questions, be sure and like the StreamYard app. That turns on the comments. That lets StreamYard know that you and I have business together and we are going to be talking. Okay, I'm going to give it just another second or so. Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and this is part 2 of day 2, which is discovering your sales genie, right? Connecting to your sales genius. And we've already had a lot of content. There's been so much that I've shared with you, but I'm going to start off with sharing some tips because I am teaching this also what I want to call is in kind of an open-handed way so that I can share some skills and strategies. Number one, I wanted to share with you that if you notice how I'm sharing some slides right now is basically I'm using my Google Drive, okay? And in the Google Drive, that's how I'm sharing my documents, and they're all lined up. This is from earlier today, and here's the handout from today. And then just in the preview, I'm able to show everything. Now, it's not slick and perfect, but I'm intentional in not wanting to be slick or perfect. Just I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be accessible, and I want you to have some ideas about some things that you could do maybe better. You could take my strategy and work on it. Because, so often we get all hung up on all the things to do and all the fancy stuff and the tactics and everything else. But it really comes down to this. Right now, people do not want the tactics. They want to be in relationship. They need to be in connection, and they need to know that there's someone who understands what they're going through and can help them. That's really what people want. They do not care about how slick or fast your website is or anything else. And I know that there are going to be people that disagree, but social media is super noisy right now, and we've all seen the stuff a million times. And the idea behind the funnels and the pages and all of this is to remove a lot of the friction. And it's brilliant, and I think that's great doing that for the consumer, the people that you want to reach. We want there to be as little friction as possible between you and them. But very often what happens, especially if you're a solo person working, is we wind up spending all of our time building a platform rather than getting up and standing on it. And very often we can stand in front of our platform and have a meaningful conversation, very much like if you've ever put together a meeting, a sales presentation, or anything else, and you wind up making the biggest sale of the whole thing in the hallway 15 minutes before the event, right? That's what I'm talking about. But I want this to be accessible, and really want to show you too, and I'm demonstrating what you could set up for yourself with literally no money. Please, I have a platform that I love called Kartra. I will share that link with you. And I'm really pleased to announce that my website finally is going to be coming out. And I used it to build my Commanding Wealth membership and the sales pages for that and the opt-in pages. And Kartra, Kartra, is a fantastic, affordable platform that allows you to create your mailing list, all of your funnels, your sell pages, your opt-in, and you can integrate it with your website. So I'll make sure I'll put my affiliate link in this for a little bit later. So I do have that, but I wanted to show you some ways that you can make this work. So number one, what do we have? I have my business Facebook page. Number two, I created a community that is the TOC Money Mindset Mastery, and I serve that group. And right now there's 600 or so people in that group, and it's growing every week. And every week we get together and we have a live, oh my goodness, my banner's still on. Every week we have a live group that we get together for about an hour and we practice the principles of the one command and we witness each other's success and greatness. We really have this place to create enthusiastic support for each other. And that's my tribe. I'm building my tribe. So I have my Facebook business page. I have the group page. Then I'm using the 5-day challenge method on promoting my business and growing my list, delivering content, and I'm using it as a sales platform to educate, inform, and then make offers. And this is such a beautiful platform because it gives you a chance to get to know people and spend time with them and shape your content to what it is that they need based on their questions and their feedback. And it just works so beautifully because then the content can be changed out, can be repurposed in many, many ways. Okay. Using Google Slides and documents. That's free. And I did create a form of my Google handout in the slides, right? Just so I could, create it there and download it as a PDF. But I do use canva.com, Canva, canva.com to design things. And I'm using the professional level, which is $12 a month, but they have an incredible free level that you can use. And there's a lot that you can do with that now because they've added animation and PowerPoints, right? So is that another free one? If I wanted to be able to communicate with my group faster, there's a free platform called ManyChat that lets me collect email addresses, communicate with people, send messages out via Facebook Messenger, permission-based marketing, and they have a free option and it integrates with your business page. So all of that works together. And so that I just want to let you know that you don't have to wait till you have a whole bunch of money to start presenting and reaching out to people. Facebook is an incredible platform. There's things you can do with Instagram, Twitter, and of course LinkedIn. But I have to say, Facebook, as far as to be able to put together a business with no money and to be able to collect money on it. Did you know that if you have a customer send you money through PayPal, through Facebook, they don't take out any charges. It can go directly from their bank account to your bank account, and it's seamless and it's a highly trusted platform for um, sending money back and forth. So you can turn that on and off. I'm going to share with you one more thing that I'm going to be working with today, because I don't have a handout, and I had it all open, and for some reason now I'm on Facebook. But anyway, let me get to my page. I'm going to show you an app called Live. I'm trying to get up here close enough. Transcribe. Live Transcribe. Now, today I wanted to just take you through this visualization, and it is a process that I work with people that is called Belief to Creation. But we're going to tailor this in a way that you're setting a really clear intention, and then takes you all the way through the vignettes, and along the way you meet your resistance. So first, let me show you this with Transcribe. I wish I'd gotten that description down. And the reason Transcribe is so awesome is that you can just go ahead and speak, and it's taking your information and it will save it for you. And I use this because now we're having to wear the mask when we go out. And if I go to a restaurant or something, it's hard for me sometimes to hear what people are saying because of my age, I guess, and certain noise levels are a little hard for me. So I've started turning this on when people are asking me questions when I'm out in public. And I've shown this to every waiter and retail person and saying, hey, if you have customers that are having a hard time hearing you, put this on your phone and they're going to love it. This is Live Transcribe. Isn't that great? So what I'm going to do with this Live Transcribe today is I'm going to use it to record the process that I'm going to be taking you through. Let me get over to the comments and check in. And the idea behind this today is it's kind of like using the power of your intuition. We want to speak to people on the inner planes of it, what I call the inner planes of existence. Earlier, I mentioned that all the parts of me are talking to all the parts of you all the time, right? We are communicating on many levels. We're communicating consciously and unconsciously. There's our words, and then there's everything we're communicating through our body and our expressions and the energy that we're putting out. But we're also unconsciously communicating our intention. We're unconsciously communicating our counter intention. We're unconsciously communicating our prejudices and our insecurity. And then if we get impatient, they feel it, right? So how can we best get control over what it is that we are communicating? First, with ourselves about our experience. And second, how can we communicate to ourselves in a way about what it is that we want to create and have, and the outcomes that we want to experience? Well, I have this process, and I explained it in the first video where I call it talking on the inner planes. Asar and I have laughed many times because we'll go months without talking. And then one of us will call each other up, and she says, she said, well, we're doing all this talking on the inner planes. I guess it's time for us to have a conversation. And she'll be right. She and I would be just both thinking about something at the same time. And I would be imagining, well, if we did this, and what would that look like? And I wonder what Asara would say, and what do I want in this situation, right? And what do I want to create, and what do I need from her? And I'm just kind of having this idea, and I'm noticing there's this back and forth. I'm just doing it mentally, okay? So when that's happening, I know that she's thinking about me too. I can feel it. There's just this kind of sense of a presence. But just please notice that if you're on someone's mind, if If you're on someone's mind, they're on your mind too. Okay. And it's kind of a fun game to play. And then Asara will call or I'll call her, and we will literally talk about exactly what we were imagining happening. Okay. I told you this was kind of how I grew up dealing with my mom, having conversations on the inner planes, and then we'd have a confirming conversation. And so how does this work? Well, the steps are pretty simple. It's called Belief to Creation. And we start off with, what is the intention of what is it that you want to create, attract, or what are the outcomes? What's an outcome that you're after? Okay. And let's say that since we're talking about sales, you have a chance to talk to a high dollar customer. I mean, if we're going to imagine talking to high dollar customers, we just as well, if we want to attract them, we got to imagine that we have a relationship with them first. Because why? Our actions follow our thoughts. That's it. So we have to start thinking about it and doing it in a way that is very active. So step one, what is your intention, right? What is it you want to do here? Well, I want to have a meeting with the owner of a small business so that I can bring in a sales training program. I'm making it up. So that's what I want to do. Well, who would that be? Well, I have a list of small businesses in Fort Worth. And so I want to connect with one of those businesses, one of those 100 businesses that have 100 employees or less, and find out what they need. Okay, great. What would that look like, right? What do I want? Well, so I've stated it. What would that look like? So what is my vision on that? Well, number one, it would look like I would probably wind up with teaching them a program for 6 weeks. And I want to have webinars, and I want to be able to coach the bosses. And I want to be able to teach the people who are dealing with the employees that are receiving the training on how to continue to coach the employees to keep up the practices that we taught there, right? So that's a pretty standard program, right? Great. That sounds good. Well, what else do I want? Well, I want to meet them and be able to talk to them. I feel like if I could just have a conversation with them and find out what their pain points are, I could create a program that would solve it for them. And I want to get in a meeting with the decision maker. Okay, great. I want to get in a meeting with a decision maker. Now, as you're just thinking it out, I've got my intention. And then what else do I want? Well, like what would it look like? And then what else would it look like? So now I've brought it from this big, vague thing to, okay, now here's the medium. I want to create this program. That's the outcome. But then what else? Notice what's happening is as we start chunking down, the steps start getting a lot more specific. Now, I am making this up on the spot. I'm not lying, but I don't know why I started saying that today. I think, you know who's been saying that? It's my granddaughter. Somebody said it on TV, and then she's like, Nana, I mean it. I'm not lying. So, we can be influenced by anybody, can't we? And that's a Carolyn's Charm School happening right there. But so I am making it up as I go along, and I'm telling you the truth. I'm teaching you the model. Okay. So I have my intention. I want to sell this program. Who do I want to sell it to? What does that look like? Then I kind of design the program right off the top of my head. I already got some big chunks, big pieces already put in place that just naturally rose up. Okay. So then what else? Then the next thing came, I was like, well, what do I need to happen? Well, I need to get with the decision maker and have a conversation. Why? Because that works really well for me to just talk to people, do my let's make friends strategy. I want to find out what you're up to and what's working for you and what's not, and who do you know, right? And then based on that, to have a needs conversation. And then based on that, based on what they tell me, I can create a presentation and then make an offer. That's already looking pretty good, right? That's already a lot of information. That would set a lot of people either spinning on their ear or running right towards that goal. But then what do you need? What would be next? So this is where the belief to creation comes in, because remember when I said earlier that very often we fantasize about things. And if you're going to fantasize, why not fantasize about the outcomes you desire? Very often we're fantasizing about rejection and not knowing what to do or looking foolish, or we go, I've never done it before, which applies to literally 100% of anything you've ever done in your life. Right? Anything you've ever done, there was a moment that you'd never done it and then you did it. We can even say that literally about your first breath that you ever took. There was a moment that you'd never taken a breath of air before, and then you did. Then you did just fine, didn't you? Well, it's going to be just like that. But then we would think about what needs to happen. Okay. So we might immediately, if we had the idea that, okay, I want to have a meeting, but they may not want to talk to me. Okay. I want to have a meeting is an action that you want to take. And very often, what happens, we immediately have a belief about them not wanting to talk to you or not being willing to talk to you. Okay. All right. So when you think about them not being willing to talk to you, how does that feel? And notice what it feels like in your body. Do you feel tight or constricted? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you feel confused? Do feelings of not good enough suddenly start showing up? Or do you get excited? Do you go, oh, you know what? I'm going to go in there. I'm going to tell them because I've worked with people. They are going to love this. Let's go make that happen. But whether it's positive or negative, notice what your feeling state is. Now, the reason your feelings are so important is this, that every decision is ultimately an emotional decision. It either feels right or it doesn't. And a lot of our negative beliefs and programming and conditioning is held at a pre-verbal level, which means, before we were able to speak, we may have some trauma or conditioning within our system, or where we were really able to articulate what we wanted, needed, or desired. That happened before we could articulate that, and that is disconnected. That emotion is disconnected from the speech center in the brain. We can't even tell ourselves what it is. We can't even quite get the pictures or find the words to articulate it. But the feelings will not lie. Okay? So we want to tune into how we feel. And then if we have this belief that they won't want to talk to you, then we have this feeling. And when I ask you about feelings, I want you to think about how you're holding the sensation in your body. If there's excitement, how do you know you're excited? Is there like your energy go up, you perk up, you're kind of wiggly in your seat, your shoulders go back, or do you suddenly get tight and tense? Does your stomach feel funny? Is there tension in your throat? Do you get pressure on your eyes? What do you notice? Okay. So then I want to ask you, because we're going to find a judgment. We're going to find out what this rule is about why you can't talk to them, because we may have some weird leftover belief about having a rule about not talking to strangers or not speaking until we're spoken to, or some idea that we're a bother. Okay. Remember the story about Dan Kennedy and the guy who was banging on the door? Hey, he had a solution. He had some really valuable information, and he didn't let up until he got it through, right? So, and we also talked about if you really feel that you have a solution that can help people or solve a big problem or help them achieve a goal faster, you have a moral imperative to help them. If you have the ability to help, then you must. So, why wouldn't you? So just tune in. What do you think people would say or do? And the way we know that we're kind of dealing with a judgment or limiting belief is it sounds like I ought to, we should, there's can'ts. You know, it's kind of like when we hear that you're shouldn't all over yourself, honey, right? When we hear should, ought to, have to, need to, it's very mental, and that's a judgment. That's letting us know what our limitation is, and we're meeting our conditioning. Okay. Now, what happens to most people is they start circulating. They go from that, um, here's this belief, I want to do this, but I can't because then if you think about doing it, how does it feel? Oh, it feels terrible. I'm scared. I would be embarrassed, or I don't know what to do. I never did it before. As if there's no such thing as the internet or a book or a magazine or a way to connect with somebody who has done it before. Okay. But all of that starts coming up, and all that discomfort and that excuse making starts showing up. Okay. Then you think, well, why wouldn't they? Why do you think that that's true? What would happen if you did call them, right? Oh, they would, have to deal with the gatekeeper. Oh, well, they might get in there, but they'd see that I'm nothing. I'm too small, and my website's not done yet. I'm 40 pounds overweight, and I'm this, that. I'm too old. I'm this, that, or the other, right? And that's just a belief. Now, I have another process that I take people through and the Commanding Wealth and some other programs I've done that is a struggle system. And all of that's part of the struggle system that keeps you away from what you want. Okay. And it keeps you from being congruent and operating authentically. So, how do we get out of that paradigm? How do we keep cycling back? Because what most people wind up doing is they start telling a story or a new story. Then they start telling every negative story about what would support their reasons and their beliefs. And next thing you know, they're telling you some story about something that happened when they were 8 years old, and you're talking to someone who's 58 years old. Right? I mean, they've just sent themselves completely backwards instead of aligning to the greatness that they already are, aligning to the potential and all the good and the benefit that their idea could bring. And this is what we're doing in this work. I'm not trying to convince you to do anything, that you have an idea to help people in some way, some shape or form. You have an idea about how you want to live your life and what is important to you, and to have the freedom to do what's important to you. And you have a standard of living that you want to live at. I mean, none of that is wrong or radical. And it's right. It's right that every bit of that would happen. It's right that you're the one who got the idea. You're the one, it's right that you're the one that got the inspiration. And so it's only right that you take action on it. So instead of sending your thoughts backwards into the limitation, we want to send you forward into the solution. The way we do that is we ask ourselves, what do we need in order to move forward? So you're thinking about wanting to do a set, in this made up thing, have a sales meeting. You want to meet with some decision makers from a small company, and you're like me, go, hey, I want to create a program, and I already know what the price point should be, and I have a pretty good idea what that program would look like and how I would deliver it. But you don't have everything figured out yet. Okay. In fact, it's good not to have every single detail figured out, because then you're going to be going around with your square hole trying to find a square peg. And then next thing you know, you're, just trying to find what will fit. You need to go out and find what people want, what they're looking for, and find out how you can adjust your services to best serve them. Remember the platinum rule? Yeah. So the golden rule is do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Platinum rule is do unto others as they wish to be treated and served. That's the platinum rule. And that's what's created disruption in so many long-time industries, like the Airbnb did with the hotels, and Uber did with taxis, and on and on. Okay. So we would tune into this scenario of a business meeting. I want a business meeting. What would that look like? Well, we'd probably be in a boardroom, right? Okay, great. So you have a little working idea of what you're going after, right? We know what success looks like. Okay. Great. When you tune into that idea, that outcome, this helps that your eyes are closed. I'm closing my eyes because I'm getting a picture and I'm talking to you about it. When you tune in to talking to people and maybe you're an interruption or a bother, or they won't want to talk to you, maybe you have a feeling that you don't have the right. What do you need in order to feel like you do have a right, that you're welcomed there, that what you have to offer is of value? Be present to that. Close your eyes. Now, here's the secret. Remember when we tuned into the need? What do you need? And we had that feeling in our body. Great. Tune back into that feeling of discomfort, because there's something being communicated to you that you're not able to interpret just yet. There's nothing wrong with you just because something feels wrong. All right. It's a request for more information, and your unconscious mind is wanting to communicate with you. That's all it is. All right. So just be present to it. So right now, if I think about doing that, I've never done it before, I feel a little uncomfortable. There's a little uneasiness. I mean, just as I tuned in, my solar plexus kind of did this number a little bit. So what do I need? I might think confident. Okay. I need to feel prepared. Okay, great. So confident. So if I felt confident, how would I know? If you felt confident, how would you know? Well, one, if you're confident, what is your body language like? Well, is your shoulder back a little? Your rib cage is lifted, your tummy's pulled in, chin's up. Get into a more confident, even sitting or standing position. Good. So when you think about being confident, think of a time you were confident. We already did a physical shift. You feel the physiology already causing adjustments. So tune back in. What else do you need? Mm, I feel like I need a relationship. I don't feel comfortable just cold calling people. I need to have a reason or a relationship or something in common. There needs to be an existing connection. Okay, so some common ground. Great. So think about that existing connection. If you had a connection and it gave you enough confidence to take action, what would that feel like? How would you know? What's interesting when I tune into that, tune in for yourself. If I tune into that idea, I'm going to want to be in my body position. And I notice I'm kind of going up into a more visual. My eyes are kind of looking up a little bit, and I'm starting to kind of get an image up here. So immediately I'm kind of coming into a more visual. It's like, oh, I could see that happening. I'm a visual person, me, and a lot of people aren't. And some people go, it just doesn't sound right. Something doesn't ring true or it doesn't feel right. I'm a visual feeler, kinesthetic person. So to me, if I could see a way, I can make a way. Like, yeah, I could see a connection. I bet I know someone who knows someone. Well, who knows that game of Kevin called Kevin Bacon, 6 Degrees of Separation? And the premise of the game is that in every person in the world, there's only 6 steps to get to Kevin Bacon. And I can actually say I qualify for that game because I got to who was it was Lori Singer who played in Flat in the dancing movie with him. Okay, so no, I can't say the name of it, but Lori Singer was in the movie with Kevin Bacon and the dancing movie, and her um, her sister-in-law was one of my clients. So I'm 3 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. You're welcome. I'll tell him you're calling, right? I mean, but I'm actually in a closer loop now. I'm actually in connection to a relative who was in a movie with him. So that's a fun idea, right? So, but if I need that sense of connection, what does connection look or feel like for me? Okay, so it feels doable. I'm noticing my body's opening. Great. All right. So now what am I doing? I'm just using the power of my imagination. I'm asking questions. Now's the fun part. Now I want to create it. Okay. And there's what we're going to do is we're going to do a one command based on this little thing I've made up. And then I want to create 3 what I call vignettes, 3 scenes that let me know yeah, this is going to be real. And it might even give me some clues about some action steps. And it starts programming my mind for the outcome that I desire. Okay. So I want a connection. I have this belief about they won't know me or want me. I'm a bother. I might say I'm not in that league. Whatever beliefs come up, we're going to spend time with that negative belief, right? And just every time a thought comes up, you just meet it and you notice how you're feeling it. Okay. So this is the belief to creation process. We've already identified the big intention, right? What do we want? We started chunking it down on what would that would look like. Well, I want to create this program. Who do I want to serve? What would it look like if I were serving them? How do I think I would sell it to them? And then when I think about actually getting in a room and talking to the business owner, what thoughts, feelings, ideas come up? I want to do that, but I mean, I'm really not that type. I've never really done that corporate selling thing, even though I've been invited to speak at places. It never really felt like a corporate presentation. It was usually a lunch and learn type of thing. And I've got to go to adjacent clubs and organizations and have a lot of the people that were in the organization, like we go to the Boeing Parapsychology Club, which had over 600 members. Yeah, Boeing up in Washington State. So we were around everybody who was involved in a particular industry, but I've never really said, hey, Boeing, would you like for me to come in and talk to you? Does that make sense? Okay. So I can say, well, I've never done it. And then when I think about how it feels, then I'm tuning into my own body to get clues. Do I feel excited? Do I feel scared? Do I feel shut down? Am I nervous? Does anxiety get triggered? What am I noticing physically? And then I'm thinking, well, why do I think I can't do that? Right? I'm going, what would I have to do? What should I be able to do? I'm just starting to examine what my judgments are. Well, I'm too small, or I'm this, that, or the other. We talked about age, all of that. So we're kind of examining our objections and our beliefs, and then we're kind of noticing what rules we might be violating. Okay. Then we're going, well, what do I need? Well, just in asking, what do I need in order to feel comfortable or, feel comfortable here, then I would go, well, I want to feel confident. What did I do? I created confidence just by rolling back my shoulders, lifting my chest bone. I created that. Then it was like, well, what else do I need? And I tuned back into the feeling in my body and I got the information. Okay. Is this making sense? And the hashtag replay, be sure and let me know. I'd love to get your comments. So then we're about to do these little 3 vignettes. So if I were confident and could feel like they'd want to talk to me, or if I could I see myself in a room? Well, right now, in my ordinary thinking, I can't quite get there. It feels not real. Like, because I'm visual, it feels like an image that kind of keeps slipping. So we're going to do the 1 command. So I'm going to just walk you through the 6 steps very quickly, and then you can insert what your own intention is. Okay? All right. So first, we have the intention. We have the thing that we want to create. And now I want to just invite you to close your eyes and ground. Picture, visualize, or imagine that you're like a tree and that you have long roots going deep down into the earth. The deeper those roots go, the more calm and relaxed you feel. And soon you feel your connection and ground of being completely supported. And now picture, visualize, or imagine that you are starting to draw up that earth energy up through your feet, into your knees, into your hips. Giving support to your body as you bring your attention to your heart and aligning to that greater purpose that the thing that you want to create serves. Roll your eyes up, picture, visualize, or imagine that you're traveling up a pole of light. The higher you go, the faster you go, and soon you find yourself surrounded by the beautiful black void in space. Break through the darkness into the light of pure, open potential. Eyes up. And here's the command. I don't know how. I have a fantastic program that serves small businesses, and it's easy to get sales meetings. I only know that I have closed many contracts. I have many contracts signed, sealed, and delivered now, and I am fulfilled. Let your eyes go, let that relax. I don't know how I have confidence. I don't know how I have the right connections. Remember, that was 2 things I said I felt like I needed. So whatever it is that you needed, you command for. I don't know how I have connections and I have the ability to make new connections that are even deeper. I only know that I am creating valuable connections and I am bringing great value to those connections now, and I am fulfilled. Now let your eyes relax. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that serves more good in its fulfillment. Just keep your eyes closed. And now just imagine that that message has gone out, that you're ready for that next big idea on how to create a program. You know who you want to serve, and that somehow those connections are made. And the people who have been looking for you somehow get that message. Okay? And now feel yourself coming back down that pole of light into your body as if you're the person who confidently sells and delivers programs to small companies and business owners, or to your ideal client, whatever that is. Now, bring your attention back to your heart. Take a couple of deep breaths. And now, when you think about having a meeting, like there's the thing you want to do, there's the way you want to do it, there's the way you see how to make it happen. And so when you think about having that conversation, being in that room, just saying, hey, here's the idea. Or maybe you have an exploratory, and then you have the chance to pitch your idea, and then make a proposal. When you think about it, how does it feel? Does it feel easy? Does it feel doable? What do you think they would say now if you wanted to approach whoever the metaphorical them they are? You want to approach them, potential customers. I'm noticing as a little still excitement, nervous, but I could do it, and I'm willing to do whatever I need to make that happen. And especially with being prepared, or maybe I need to get extra coaching. Maybe I need to get my materials pulled together a little bit, get some things tilted in a way that would be attractive to them, and get my collateral material, which is my folders or flyers or anything else, my 19 Guy Kawasaki slides, no, 13 Guy Kawasaki slides ready, get all that ready. And it feels like there would be some preparation, but it feels doable. And it feels like, there's going to be some work that's going to be worth it. In fact, I may have to go ahead and go get that handled right now. But then the next step after that is we want to create the 3 vignettes. Like, how would it know? Like, hey, if we were doing that, what do we see ourselves doing to make it happen? So I already kind of gave you some clues, right? I'd say, oh yeah, I would make sure I have my materials. I would do this, that, the other. Okay, so take a look at yourself and picture, visualize, or imagine you feeling good about your materials, that you're showing them to someone you like and trust, and they're giving you great feedback, and you know that when you go in, you have what you need to effectively communicate. That could be one. It could be you picturing that you have a conversation with a friend, and they go, oh, I know somebody who's doing that. I'll be happy to connect you. Yeah, that would be awesome, right? What would be the third one? Oh, we got that contract. I got a big check in my hand. I've got the agreement, and I'm really looking forward to getting started in the next 6 weeks. Feels great, right? So then I'm going to take all of that. I'm going to imagine all of those little vignettes kind of coming together. I'm going to smush them together. I'm going to send them up to Theta. I don't know how. I came to feel so confident and in control. I only know that all things work together for my good, and I now have high ticket contracts in my possession, and I am fulfilled. Just let that go, let that expand out. And now just feel it come back in. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So that's the basic steps. And in that visualizing and imagining those outcomes, the more time you spend in that, and then you meet any internal objection or fear or doubt, that's when you stop to do a 1 command. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this transcription printed out. I'll get it saved, and then I will edit it a bit, and then I'll get the audio and this video uploaded into the Google file as quickly as possible. So I hope that this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Wednesday at noon for session 3. So until next time, my friend, this is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach. Now witness your mastery. Bye bye.